Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon, and this is not a video I expected to make today. Of all the companies on the internet right now, one of the most profitable is YouTube, is Google, and they just offered voluntary buyouts to their staff. So something is up. Something big is up, and this is just a couple of days after Amazon laid a bunch of people off. It was Monday. They laid like 14,000 people off, and they're looking to do 30,000 by the end of the month. And now YouTube is offering voluntary buyouts. I haven't read this article yet. It literally just happened. As of recording this, it just happened. Of course, it happens, at the end of the day. But this is pretty crazy because I've been talking on Twitter for the last couple days now about some weirdness going on at YouTube. It feels very strange. It feels like Geeky and I have been talking. It feels like they're deliberately underreporting numbers, view stats, right? And for October, things aren't as good as they usually are. Now, for those of you who know how the ad game is played, usually October, November, December are your best months. Well, October so far has been actually a little below average, even though our views are up. So we've got this crazy theory, and it is just a crazy theory, that YouTube maybe isn't being completely honest with the numbers, that they're going to try to pocket more money for themselves. Because remember, if you're part of the YouTube partner program, they have to pay you, I think it's like 45, 55%. It's a pretty good chunk compared to shorts where it's a pittance, right? Compared to people who aren't part of the partner program who, YouTube will still run ads on their content, but they don't get paid. They don't get a cut of it. Again, it's just kind of a wacky theory that we have, but I'm comparing notes with other YouTubers, and something is definitely up over there, whether it's AI, which is what I think. Really, at the end of it, that's what this is about, is automating a lot of stuff that would have been caught normally is not getting caught now because everything is done with AI. But they're saying that they believe the disruption over at YouTube is because of AI. They think they're going to replace a lot of people with AI. And we've seen people get gone over the last couple months at YouTube. They've been there for a very long time. So what I'm saying is, if you're expecting the YouTube experience to get better, don't hold your breath. I think it's going to get a lot worse, both for viewers and for creators, especially. Because I'm looking at this situation, I'm like, man, all they're doing now is they're throwing shorts in front of people. They're showing like 10 times the amount of ads they used to show. They're throwing shopping links into everything. They're throwing, 4-year-old videos in front of you. It's wild. And again, I think all of this is because of AI. I think their AI has run amok. But let's talk about this. Let's see what's going on here. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Geeky sitting this video out. Again, this just happened. So this comes from the Hollywood Reporter. YouTube to offer voluntary buyouts to employees amid AI disruption. Okay, staffers that want to leave the video platform will be eligible for severance as CEO Neil Moen restructures its product division into 3 groups. This guy's, I got to tell you, ever since he's come on, everything has changed. I mean, I think they're trying to compete with TikTok now. I think they're trying to compete with TikTok and Netflix. They want to be the best everything but the best YouTube. And yet they're boasting record profits. It's very curious how that works, right? YouTube continues to be a dominant force in advertising and entertainment, but the disruption from generative AI spares no company. In a memo to staff Wednesday, the CEO, Neil Moen, I think it's Mohan or Mohan, cited this disruption and opportunity of AI as a reason to restructure the video platform, with the executive creating a new reporting structure for the company's product teams and rolling out voluntary employee buyouts, offering severance to any YouTubers that may want to leave the company. Can I get a severance package? Can you just give us a couple $1 million? We'll go away. There you go. A source notes that no roles are being eliminated as part of the change, though voluntary separation programs can sometimes serve as a prelude to cuts later on. The decision to offer buyouts comes the same week that Amazon announced plans to reduce its workforce by 14,000 jobs, citing AI disruption. Now, I am going to tell you, as someone who's worked for a handful of corporations, if they offer you a voluntary buyout, a severance, if they basically pay you to leave the company, I would recommend taking it, because that is your warning. That's the warning shot. That means layoffs are coming, and the next time you may get gone, but it's not going to be your choice, and you're not going to get the same deal. And I've been in that situation before too. I've had people before like, no, I'm too invaluable. I've been here 30 years. We're not going to take the buyout. I'm going to stick it out. We've been through hard times before, and then they got laid off like 2 weeks later. That's what's going on, right? So they're going to lay people off. They're telling you they're going to lay you off. They're trying to be nice about it. I mean, they could just like gut the company and not, you know what I'm saying? I would, if you're working at YouTube, I would strongly recommend taking the buyout package, because you're probably not going to have a job in, a couple months, 6 months, whatever. And this is a company that's making record profits, guys. Going forward, YouTube will have 3 product organizations, with the top executive from each reporting directly to Moen. Subscription products. Okay, so this is where we compete with Netflix. Subscription products will be led by Christian Olstein. I don't know who this is. Esleen, and include oversight of YouTube TV, YouTube Premium, YouTube Music, primetime channels, and other business lines. Viewer products, led by Joanna Vulich, will focus on the YouTube mobile and living room apps, trust and safety, YouTube Kids, search infrastructure, and other key areas, in creator and community products, which will be focused on supporting creators, including through YouTube Shorts and its generative AI tools. Okay, I'm telling you, they said YouTube is expected to bring in a new leader for that organization. So they're going to have their Netflix competitor, which is going to be their subscription stuff. And then people like us are going to get lumped in with mobile and living room and trust and safety and YouTube Kids and all that shit. Basically, the pleb content, if you're a pleb and you're making content and posting on YouTube, you're going to get rolled into this other thing. Okay, here it comes, guys. In his memo, Moen said AI is the next frontier for YouTube. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter for this month's cover story about YouTube, he explained why he thinks AI will ultimately work in service of human creators. I think creation is an area where AI will help enormously by making the process easier, by making it more efficient, and also by making it more powerful. So for those of you who thought naively that YouTube was not going to, remember they were like, oh, they're not going to monetize AI slop. No. They are. You just have to disclose it's AI, and it's going to be a case-by-case basis, and it's going to be like, hey, if you're using, Spider-Man and Batman and characters that are, trademarked, obviously you can't do that. You can't monetize that. But no, they're all about AI slop. They're YouTube is owned by Google. Google is in the AI slop business right now. So I'm telling you, if you think that that's what's going to happen, you are naive. If you think that you are going to be able to hold your own against AI slop farms, you are naive. If you think that human creators are going to always be needed, you are very, very naive. Because I think, this is just a theory on my part, I think before it's all said and done, YouTube will generate videos based on search queries, and it'll just spin up videos for people using Gemini and whatever, VO, whatever tools they have. And that will possibly include fake newscasters. They'll possibly include like fake historical footage. I don't know what they're going to do. I think eventually, though, that is what is going to happen. And that'll be like the pleb content, basically the stuff that we make right now, right? The pleb content. And then you'll have the Hollywood stuff. That's what I think is going to happen. So he's all about the AI. The YouTube chief added, I think we're in the very early days of these types of possibilities, and my hope is that we'll create a lot more opportunity for that entire supply chain of creation, not just the creators at the top. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think there's going to be a lot of replacement here, but it's very, very telling. It is very telling that they're giving anybody who wants to bail money. Like, just go. Because you know what? If you don't go on your own, you're going to be out the door. And this is coming after Amazon just laid a bunch of people off, including a bunch of people at Twitch, by the way. But I just read this article this morning. This is on Business Insider. And they were basically like, hey, the era of, because we had the tech bubble burst a couple of years ago, and they got rid of a bunch of the activist employees that didn't really do anything, fresh out of college, making six figures, bragging about what they don't do all day. And they got rid of those people, right? And that was a huge shakeout. And then the venture capital ran out. And then there was a run on the one Silicon Valley bank. And, all the money dried up. Well, now the next wave is going to be, how many people in tech can we replace with AI? And the answer is, honestly, quite a few. Quite a few. That, I'm thinking about why you hire humans. And, a lot of things, like even coding, they're like, learn to code. I'm like, well, the machine's more efficient. The machine can code faster and more perfectly than you can. So that's out the door. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be wild the next couple of years. Basically what's going on, the reason people are losing their collective shit is, careers and industries that they thought they had security in have been completely upended. But I would also counter with that, again, as an old dog, I would counter that I've seen a lot of transitions and nothing is secure. I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care. Like, you always have to keep your options open. You're not going to park it at some company for 30, 40 years and retire with a watch. Those days are over. They've been over for a long time. And I don't want to hear anybody going about, well, the boomers get that. I'm like, boomers don't get that either. You ask the 67-year-old man at Walmart working as a greeter or bagging groceries how that's working out for him. And he used to have a job working someplace else that he thought he was going to be at for the rest of his life. You ask him how it's going, and he's going to tell you. And there actually is a guy. There's a guy working at our closest Walmart. Real nice guy. He's a vet. And, every once in a while I strike up, a little bit of a conversation, kind of ask him, how things are. Trying to basically get a beat on, like, dude, why are you here? And basically he's there because he has to be there because his chosen career field did not work out. And I didn't really go into a whole lot of detail or ask him for details. But there are a lot of older people that are working jobs that are frankly beneath them because their industry's dried up. I've seen it, and now it's coming for white collar workers, and people are flipping out. But it is very telling that YouTube is offering voluntary buyouts. And again, this is a company that has no shortage of cash. So I'm going to talk about that here real quick. There are a lot of YouTubers we've talked about before. I don't know if it's going to get us in trouble or not. I mean, everybody's talking about it. I mean, Linus Tech Tips was making headlines for it. They're like, we really fell off. We don't know why. There have been two, at least on our end, two very noticeable dips in viewership, or at least reported numbers. And the first one came in May, and that wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. And the summer wasn't great. Probably the worst summer we've had in 8 years, but it was okay. We were still doing better than a lot of people. And then the end of August, there was another blow. And that was like the big one. Like, everybody like dropped off a cliff, and people think it has to do with the ad blocker situation and, what they count as a view. I personally think, and this is Geeky and I talking, and then we talked to some other people, I think they might be underreporting views. And the reason for that is, look, if you got to share ad revenue with people, I mean, the thing with Google is you got to trust them, right? I mean, you don't have a choice. If you're on YouTube, it's trust me, bro. This is how many views you got. This is how much we pay you, or how much we're going to pay you. Trust me, bro. This is what your CPM is. This is what your RPM is. Who are you to argue with them? You can't. I mean, seriously, as an independent creator, you cannot argue with Google. You're not going to be able to march into YouTube's offices and be like, hey, I think you shorted me $50 last month. Good luck with that. This is not going to happen. But I do wonder if, you know, they're underreporting now to err on the side of caution or whatever, or more insidiously, if they're underreporting so they don't have to pay out as much. Because if you can save millions and millions of dollars just hypothetically speaking, you know, just again, I don't know if this is going on or not. I'm just saying, if you said, hey, everybody's getting 10% fewer views, 20% fewer views than they were, and it's an algorithm change, but in reality, they were getting those views, but you don't want to pay them. So you're saving 10, 20% on every creator across the board, and that's going to add up to record profits, right? You're going to push shorts because shorts, you don't have to pay out as much, and you still get the watch time, and to the advertisers, a view's a view, right? So you can charge these advertisers the same amount of money, run them on shorts, and not have to pay creators as much. Because frankly, the YouTube creator program was ushered in under a different era, and it is too good of a deal. I think in a lot of ways. And I'm saying this as a creator. The YouTube creator program deal, as it stands right now, would never be ushered in under today's, you know, in today's economy, right? When they did that, YouTube was still relatively young. They were trying to be fair. They were trying to attract and retain talent to the platform. But now that YouTube is like the biggest streamer TV thing on the internet, they would never offer that kind of a deal. Like, we're going to give you half of the ad revenue. What are you smoking, right? So I am waiting for the other shoe to drop. And this is just speculation on my part. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm waiting for them to renegotiate the deal Darth Vader style and drop everyone down to like 20% or something, or, you know, 15%, which means that, you know, people that are, hypothetically speaking, people that are making $10,000 now are going to make $5,000 or $4,000. And they're going to renegotiate the terms, because I'm pretty sure they have a right to do that. That'll be the next thing. And I'm kind of trying to brace myself for that, because I'm like, yeah, you know, you cannot depend on YouTube ad revenue as your sole source of income. I mean, we have other stuff going on, but we've had 2 other businesses get completely effed over by recent Google decisions. And so we kind of had a heads up on this, because we know how they operate, right? And it is about maximum profit for the company. That's basically it. And I know it's a really crass comparison, but I keep telling people, I said, if you're a YouTuber and you depend almost entirely on YouTube, you're basically an employee of YouTube. You're not even an employee. You're basically a sharecropper. Like, you're working Google's land, and hopefully they'll give you some money for it, right? And you're sharing the profits. But I think that's my personal feeling is that is gonna end pretty soon. But I think we're gonna see a lot of layoffs in tech over the next 6 months. I'm not sure what the other side of this is gonna look like. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I talked to Geeky about this. I've been working in tech since, if you count me doing web development for radio stations and stuff, late 90s. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, I ain't never seen nothing like this. That's all I'm saying. Like, I have not, and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to be completely honest, and people are going to be like, oh my God, but I have no idea. I think that I would say we're going to get rid of bloat, but I think there's going to be a massive overcorrection. I think they're going to be over reliant on AI, and they're going to fire a lot of people that knew how to make things go. And then they're going to leave, and they're not going to come back. They're going to be like, well, I'm taking my institutional knowledge with me, and you guys can go fuck yourself. That's what I think is ultimately going to happen. But that's big news. I mean, for YouTube to say, hey, we're going to buy you out. That means things are going to change dramatically at YouTube. So I'm going to point you in the, and this is everything that's happened in the last year or two has been a precursor to this, by the way. This is what the end goal was. They probably have a 5-year plan, and all these changes, these very unpopular with creator changes that they're making. It's all about chasing Hollywood and chasing maximum revenue for YouTube. That's what this is all about. And now they're going to make even more money. They're going to have more money in their pocket because they're going to get rid of a bunch of people. I'm going to point you to, I've changed the URL. I had the news.clownfishtv.com. I'm like, well, it's kind of dumb because we're not really posting news over there. But I did it originally as newsletter. Nah. We're going to call it more.clownfishtv.com. It's more.clownfishtv.com. We're going to start posting a lot more content over there. It works like Patreon or whatever, where you've got, paywalled content. As far as the notifications of video uploads on YouTube, I would say go out to X, follow me on X, follow Clownfish TV on X. I would say go to Facebook, and I'm also going to set up the main website, the clownfishtv.com top level website, to send out notifications too. So I'll just move you guys over there. But yeah, I mean, things are going to change. So it's going to be harder, I think, to find your favorite creators unless you're part of their community, whether it's, a Discord or a Patreon, or in our case, go out to the more.clownfishtv.com. And we're going to try to figure out our next steps, but I think things are going to change, right? And I don't think it's going to be a good user experience by the time they're done. I'm just saying, just a hunch I have. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.